Welcome to r/scredit by Haunted TTS. Subscribe and like this video for more, and don't forget to click that bell button for notifications. Reddit lawyers, what is the scariest thing a client has confessed said to you? Serious. I once had a client's mental state deteriorate over time. They went from relatively normal to complaining of ghosts in their home and their house being bugged in a matter of months. It was equal parts scary and very sad to watch it happen. I had a client who was charged with assault with a deadly weapon against his wife. He had a few past charges that were similar. Fairly typical domestic violence situation. He claimed it was blown out of proportion, yada yada. I got a pretty good plea deal for him and advised him to take it. He told me he wanted to go to trial. I told him that when his wife testifies against him, he'd lose pretty fast. He looked me in the eye and told me that his wife would not be attending the trial. I knew better than to ask questions. Sure enough, his wife did not attend the trial. Case dismissed for lack of witness. A win for the good guys. I hope he just made up with her and she chose not to appear, but I've always wondered if he did something to make sure of it. He sounded pretty confident when he told me she wouldn't be there. I got out of criminal law in a hurry after that. Their murders. I had to surrender my law license last week BC of an early dementia diagnosis. Although I no longer carry a bar card, the secrets disclosed by clients over the last 30 years will die with me. My husband was the lawyer, not me, but one guy had been hiding in the attic of his small apartment building, and when my husband went to talk to him, he was so out of it on meth and paranoid that he accused my husband of working for the county, whatever that means. I am a Mexican cartel member, U.S. immigration attorney. I work in patent law, so we don't really get scary per se. Grandfather came in with several inventions, actually the entire family came, which was weird. He was very proud of his inventions and explicitly stated that they needed the money the inventions would make and the money would go to the whole family to support them. His family getting an inheritance basically rested on these inventions. The inventions were extremely simple concepts that had been around for probably 30 plus years. I politely got all of the information. I then put together a report and it was honestly scary. How do you write something that shatters this elderly man's and his family's dreams? My clients did in fact know that they shouldn't do the thing that they did. That's a common one. Most lawyers don't hear anything particularly scandalous. It's usually pretty boring stuff. Dude, you're trying to break confidentiality here. I was just starting out in family law. A fellow hired me for a divorce. He was disabled, his wife had filed for divorce suddenly and sought a protection order against him. The protection order had no merit, but a temporary is pretty much always granted until there is a hearing. He hired me very close to the hearing date, so it had to be continued. He was basically living in his car with no money in the middle of winter. She had the house and her family lived nearby. I entered the case, filed police reports showing that she had been the abusive one in the marriage. We accused her of extreme marital waste, as she had emptied their joint accounts and had spent it on frivolous things, including NSFW photo modeling. We asked he be put back in the home and she go elsewhere as she had a support system and was earning, whereas my client was on SSDI. Her counsel hit back, alleging that none of that was true, it was all fabricated despite our proof, and that my client owed $6,000 in his fees for bad faith filings. Like 5 minutes before our hearing, my client told me that he knew I was trying my best, but that if we lost he was going to kill himself. So no pressure. Thankfully, we won. He got back into the home. Opposing was threatened with sanctions for her behavior. And we got temporary orders limiting both parties' spending. He was very grateful, but I pretty much demanded he speak to a counselor before I was comfortable proceeding with him as a client. I even helped him find one that would work with his financial situation because I felt for him. Ultimately, he fired me because I was too expensive for him. But I like to think I was there at the right time. His wife was an alien robot and so was the president, and he was going to kill them and all other robots. Straight to the psych ward for paranoid schizophrenia. I was always told you never lie to your lawyer or doctor. If I killed someone, would a lawyer want to know the truth to better prepare for a case, or do I keep my mouth shut? If I do admit to a heinous crime, can the lawyer just refuse to defend me and then testify against me? Asking for a friend. They killed someone when detailing the case to me. I had a client whose employee got drunk, went home and beat his wife to death, RIP, it was in the paper. I feel like my meter is calibrated differently. I feel like what is scary to some people doesn't faze me, and I can't even think of really scary things. Except the time I worked with some mentally ill defendants, and when visiting, he pulled a pen inkwell that he had sharpened out of his ass and threatened to harm himself in front of me. I was behind glass and safe, but having to talk him down was one of the scariest things I've ever had to do. He probably couldn't have seriously injured himself, but the moment was very scary. A lawyer doesn't spill on a client. Period.